And Facebook's under fire for asking users if it's okay for adult men to solicit sexually explicit pictures from underage girls. When called out about the survey on social media, the company's VP of product, Guy Rosen, tweeted, "We run surveys to understand how the community thinks about how we set policies, but this kind of activity is and always will be completely unacceptable on Facebook. We regularly work with authorities if identified it should not have been a part of the survey. That was a mistake." Facebook has stopped the survey. Joining us to discuss is Sreenivasan, former Chief Digital Officer of New York City and the Met and Columbia University, along with Recode's managing editor, Edmund Lee. Guys, good to have you both. I got to say, the recent history of Facebook executives on Twitter is checkered. And
Twitter is their Facebook executive for Twitter is their favorite platform to speak to the public, which is interesting in and of itself. This survey, I mean, this question definitely looks like it was spit out by an algorithm. You know, I don't think it was one of those necessarily things that, like, well, we should survey people what they think about pedophilia.
What kind of an algorithm spits that out?
You got to figure, here are all the issues, here are do you like it or do you not like it, and I think they just sort of did
How is that even an issue? What should we do if an adult male solicits naked photos from a 14-year-old girl?
Welcome to Silicon Valley, right? I think that's the thing. I think they like to sort of see everything in terms of columns of issues and columns of, you know, actions, what they do one way or the other. I'm not saying that's necessarily what happened here, but I do think it speaks to the general tone deafness of Silicon Valley and how they approach things, and of Facebook in particular, in that, you know, they always keep saying they're not a media company, but they have all the problems of a media company, and even worse in a lot of ways, because it's all user-generated stuff. They still have to figure it out.
I think we're seeing all the problems of Facebook come home now. The power, the reach, when you have 2 billion people doing all kinds of things, there are going to be issues. And now you're seeing the companies going to have to focus to say, how are we going to get ahead of this? Some of this is unforced error, some of this is self-inflicted. Just this morning, I was on a call with a journalist in India asking almost the same question.
Really?
This is reverberating around the world, but not just this particular issue. It seems like there's so much going on with social media in general all the time, but this feels like especially fraught, given everything happening in DC, it's just adding to the tension.
It feels like every time we talk about the company, and it's about how do they slow things down, how do they put up gates, how do they establish human curators, right? That's the opposite of the torrid growth we were in a couple of years ago.
Every sort of move they make is about how they want to make evaluations without them making the evaluations, meaning Facebook executives or Facebook people. They want the people to make the evaluations, which is where these surveys are really stemming from. We want you to decide what you think you trust or what you think should be on Facebook. I mean, that's ultimately problematic, right? You get surveys like this, but you also sort of just end up getting a chaos of values sort of circulating out there, and there's no way to actually sort of decide as a company what the next big step should be for that.
You're essentially surveying some of the very same users that are causing some of these issues on Facebook. That's the irony, right?
Absolutely, and we're seeing that time and time again, and the wisdom of the crowds only works to some extent, and when you're a big public company that can change the world like this, you have to be super careful about what you're doing, and it's not just Facebook, but all the companies have to be aware of this and paying attention.
Ed, it seems to me that one of the issues, Sree, I'll ask you this, because I already kind of peppered you with questions about the sense and lack of sense behind this. Sree, it seems to me that the issue here is, why are they even asking this question? What are they trying to figure out policy-wise about adults contacting children for sexual images that's going to add to their body of evidence? I mean, we talk about human beings taking over for computers who are making questionable decisions or being duped by Russian operatives, but I mean, a human must have pushed send on this survey. I'm worried about the humans in Menlo Park now.
And I would say what Ed said was right, that this is the culture of Silicon Valley where there is no wrong question, there is no, you know, the data is king and the data is all that matters. And so if we can establish that 99% of people are against pedophilia, then pedophilia is wrong. Until then, we don't know. And I want to give them credit because they have acknowledged it's a mistake, but how many times will this happen? And they have also put 20,000 people, as you know, to work on deleting the fake news accounts and things like that. So they are trying, but 20,000 people sounds like a lot. In the long term, it is nothing.
You're so, you have such good eyes on all the various platforms. I wonder if you've noticed a plateauing in engagement on Facebook, on the core app of Facebook.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that we sense some Facebook fatigue, but what I tell people is that Facebook is in the long game. time, right? That it's going to survive. Don't worry. I mean, a lot of people keep asking, is Facebook going to be okay? And I say, don't worry about them. They'll be fine.
You mean the company?
The company, I think, is going to be fine, because even if the youngest people are not on Facebook, they're on Instagram, Snapchat, etc., they're going to go to college. They're going to become alumni. They're going to become parents. And more people around the world are joining Facebook. So I would not worry about them. What I would worry is, what are the policies? How are they engaging? Same thing with Twitter. What is happening on Twitter to take care of bots? Just today I reported a couple of bots on my account, and within an hour they said they had blocked it. So even if they were doing things the right way, they weren't telling us they were doing things the right way. And they always tell us, trust us.
Trust us, we know what we're doing. And why does this matter? I mean, ultimately, in Facebook case in particular, comes down to advertising, right? That's a big part of their, where they're trying to solve it for more immediately. They're still largely a direct response sort of repository. So buy this, go click on that. If you're Coke, you don't need to advertise on Facebook as much, because the whole point of what you do is just to remind people, they're brand advertisers, remind people we're a good company, we're a good product, like us kind of a thing. We're not trying to go out and buy Coke right away. So for big brand advertisers like that, Facebook is less attractive for all these myriad problems that it has. Facebook is trying to fix that to sort of tell the big brand advertisers, the Cokes, the L'Oreals, the BMWs, that we're a safe space, don't worry about it. I mean, they have yet to prove that, of course.
Yeah, that's why the Unilevers and P&Gs of the world are the ones we're watching.
P&G said they pulled back advertising on Facebook, and they're like, actually, it didn't affect our sales at all. We're going to spend more on TV because we know that works, right? So that's...
These guys like to hear that.
Yeah, of course. Say that last part again. Sree, Ed, thanks, guys. Sure. Appreciate it.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.